What is up, my friends? And I do apologise that I'm a couple of minutes late, but just as I was putting my phone into the phone holder that I use for my camera, it snapped. So I had to run around the house, myself and the missus, trying to find a solution, trying to find something that we could use to put the phone on for the camera. And I think it looks all right. I think we're there. I think we can go now with tonight's stream. So yeah, apologies on the delay, but genuinely did have a bit of an emergency. So yes, there we go. We good? We happy? We're here. We're live. Thank you. Apologies again for being a few minutes late. But I'm actually really proud of how quickly we resolved that. The missus was a superstar in that one. So yeah, we are live. Appreciate you guys being patient, and thank you as always for your support. Okay, MK gone. 2 seconds into the stream, mate, and you're gone immediately. Adios. I mean, wow. Calling me a liar. Like, why else would I be late? I was in the chat beforehand telling you I was going to be late. So, there we go. Anyway, hope we get the deal through, said CD or Natasha Shepherd. Thank you, Natasha. So, look, there's loads to get through on tonight's stream. We're going to be looking at the Lavia situation. We're going to be talking about the Fabinho situation and, of course, the Jordan Henderson situation. Now, I do have a question for you. Does anybody else find it a little bit weird that Jordan Henderson posted his farewell video before the club had announced that he departed? And that's before we get stuck into the part about him training with his new team before the club had announced that he departed. I found it all a little bit weird. But I'm interested to see how you guys feel about it, and I'm interested to see what your reactions are to the situation. As always, this show is going to be led by you. So, first things first, don't forget, if you are new, firstly, you're very welcome along. Do drop a like on the stream, hit that subscribe button, and keep your comments coming. Right, somebody in the chat saying, Hendo Loveheart. I'm very, 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 very in a different mindset to you, my friend, but I realise this is an emotive topic, and for those of you who will want to know my thoughts on the Henderson farewell video, I'm recording a separate video after this stream to get my thoughts across, because I wanted to do it when at full focus, not being distracted by people who are just trying to wind me up. We noticed last night in the stream that there was an awful lot of fans from another club that just happened to come in at the start of the stream moaning about me being negative, and at first I thought, am I being negative? And then I realised, nah, it was just a very insecure other person sending people our way, but that's okay. I love being in people's heads. I live rent. As I said before, I built a property empire inside some people's heads, and I'm here for it. So, thoughts on Mbappe giving Al Hilal the hand? You mean the finger, Jack? And thank you for the super chat, by the way, Jack. Look, I never really thought that Kylian Mbappe was going to go to Al Hilal, and I don't think PSG did either. Or, like, to be fair to Sky, even when Kaveh Solokol spoke about the fact that they'd accepted the offer from Al Hilal or whoever it was from Saudi, they didn't really expect him to take the offer, you know. So I'm not surprised by it, not at all. I think he wants to go to Real Madrid. I think they'll find a way for him to end up at Real Madrid. And I also never thought there was value in that for the clubs. Like, to see a bid go in for Mbappe of, what was it, 270 odd million. He got 1 year left on his deal. It just didn't make any sense to me. Great captain, shame he left in that manner. Yes, I'm with you on that. Like, I am trying to compartmentalise the situation and look at Jordan Henderson's 12 years at the club, mate. Yes, I think that's fair. He was a great captain. No denying that whatsoever. Craig, can your Frenchie play DM? No, but he's about to get his Leroy, his L nuts, lopped off tomorrow. So yeah, it's his last night enjoying his 2 nuts before they go bye-bye. So look, let's get stuck into it and get through, lots of stuff tonight. So Lavia, I'm going to get straight into the Lavia talk because that's what we're all excited about, right? So I told people, now you may be new to the channel, that's fair enough, but I've told a lot of people that Lavia was going to be a Liverpool player, and here we go with the Lavia stuff again. He is going to be a Liverpool player. How do I say this without getting myself into trouble? I would be very, 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 very surprised if Lavia hasn't had an agreement with Liverpool to join via Southampton in the next few days. I mean, I think it's a matter of when and not if at this point. That's my reading of the situation. So we know that there was a £35 million with £2 million in add-ons on top of that, so £37 million in total offer that Southampton rejected. That's understandable. If they have a valuation of a player, they're perfectly within their rights to ask whatever they'd like. Bear in mind as well on this one that Manchester City not only have that potential buyback clause that would have come into play at the end of this coming season, but they also have a 20% sell-on clause. I only found that part out today. So I think we'll get there. I think the offer Fabrizio spoke about, the second offer that's going to be going in, I mean, I'd be very surprised if that one wasn't accepted. It seems like we're getting there. So I think we'll get to here we go on Lavia soon enough. But what worries me after that is that I've seen a lot of stuff to say that maybe that's the end of it. That maybe Lavia will be the end of our signings. And I'm okay with that if Fabinho stays. But if Fabinho follows through and his move happens, I think we do need to go out and sign a fourth midfielder. I mean, common sense, just need the bodies. So Lavia, that's going to happen very soon. So I think we can relax a little bit on that one. On the Fabinho situation today, so there was a lot of worry about what was the problem. And it seems like the problem was that the club weren't able to register new players. But that issue has been resolved. And they've got the clearance now to start registering new players. So I think that Fabinho deal will move along and will get concluded. I don't know when, in all honesty, but I think it'll be concluded in the next week or so. I don't know exactly when. Fitz, how are we, dude? Thank you so much for your super chat. Said, Craig, find the whole Henderson situation weird. Love the captain and what he brings to the midfield, his mentality and passion for the club, but how we finish things is wrong. Expected better from him. Yeah, so I've went through lots of different emotions, Fitz, around the Jordan Henderson situation. I went from anger to sadness to just confused. And I've tried to split it up in my mind, like you've said there. Nobody will ever deny the man's role at the club and how big a part he was. But it feels like a very bittersweet ending right across the board for Hendo, for us as fans, for the club. It just feels weird. And watching his video today, and again, I'm going to record my thoughts later on, it just doesn't feel like the situation's right, does it? Now on Henderson, well, I'm going to give you my thoughts a little bit later on. I do want to read out to you the response that's been posted by Cop Out, who are Liverpool's LGBTQ plus supporters group. They've simply said, given choices he's made, Cop Outs doubt and question if Jordan Henderson was ever an actual ally. They go on to say, we are desperately disappointed that he's choosing to work as part of sports washing operation, attempting to distract from a regime where women and LGBTQ plus people are oppressed and are regularly tops the world's death sentence table. Again, that's not my words, so no need to have a pop at old Craig out, but the LGBTQ plus Liverpool Supporters Association Cop Out have had their say on Jordan Henderson's move. So again, you guys are fully entitled to have your say here in the chat, and I will respect all opinions because there is no right and wrong answer. It's how you feel, and I'm not right or here to tell you how to feel. Hey Craig, RIP Sinead, this isn't a football question, more of a phone question, but if you see only one tick appears instead of two, is that a sign that you're blocked? In what regard? Mate, I don't know what you mean, I need more context. So firstly, Sean Luke, thank you for your super chat, and yes, I echo your sentiment. I don't know if you guys are aware, but Sinead O'Connor, legendary Irish singer, unfortunately passed away today at the age of 56, which is, 18 months on from the passing of her son. So my heart's breaking for her and her family. And of course, we send all our love and best wishes. So if you're talking about on WhatsApp, Sean Luke, it's either it hasn't been delivered or maybe the person just isn't active. I don't know, mate. I'd have to know the situation. Abdullah said that's pure BS. If you're talking about LGBTQ plus supporter fan group yoke, how is it? Genuinely, how is somebody else's opinion BS because you don't like it? They're telling you how they feel. You can't tell me that someone's feelings are wrong. You can talk about the facts in a statement, absolutely. But you can't say that people's feelings are wrong, mate. They're their feelings. Same way I came on here tonight saying to you guys, I'm not going to judge any of you on how you feel about the Henderson situation because I've no right to. You are perfectly entitled to your own feelings. So yeah, I know this is a sensitive subject. I know it is. And I'm trying my best to be sensitive about it. For me, I just feel disappointed in how the whole thing's ended. If we get Lavia and lose Fabinho, Don't you think we need a centre-back, not a fourth midfielder? Well, I think we need a centre-back already. And on that, Liverpool have basically given up on Colwill at this point. And again, they're not my words. I'll go through all this in more detail as the stream goes on. Look, we need another midfielder in my eyes, 100%. If Fabinho stays, I mean, grand. No issues. If Fabinho stays, we get Lavia in. I think we're okay. Yeah, I'd say we're okay with that. But if Lavia comes in and Fabinho moves on, I would argue that we need to bring in another midfielder. Somebody maybe with a bit more experience, somebody 23, 24, 25. But that's my own personal take. Now, on the centre-back situation, I'm a little bit, I don't want to say worried, but I'm a little bit concerned that we're going to get through this window and not sign one. Unless something happens very soon, or unless something that we haven't seen pops up. Truly, I'm not sure what way to think about the centre-back situation. But it is encouraging to see that we're at least moving on Lavia. I'm still a little bit perplexed as to why we let it go this long before an offer went in. You know, I've pointed this out yesterday. We go right back to the start of the window. We knew Lavia was one of the targets. So, look, I suppose if he gets over the line, we get him in. That's a good bit of news, and we need a good bit of news, right? Because it's been very slow for Liverpool fans recently. Like, we had this major buzz at the start of the transfer window with the great signings of Szoboszlai and McAllister, and we were really hoping to kick on and push on. And since then, it's gone a bit quiet. And I understand, obviously, the club are dealing with a pre-season tour. They're dealing with a couple of outgoings as well. So, yeah, maybe we just have to be a bit patient. But it's hard. It's hard because, look, we're football fans. We want everything and we want it now. That's the way we are. Thoughts on Stevie G's involvement in the Hendo deal, said Rojo Joe. I think I differ from some people on this, mate. Like, when I've broached this subject with some other Liverpool fans, I've said that I'm a bit disappointed in Steven Gerrard for, you know, destabilising Liverpool's camp. Other people might look at it and go, well, he's done Liverpool a favour, getting rid of Henderson, getting 13 million, freeing up some money off the books. And maybe he's doing Henderson a favour. So I guess, again, there are many ways to look at it. For me, I think it's a headache we could have done without. I think it's something that I wish Henderson spoke to the manager about at the end of last season, and maybe the manager could have had a bit more time to prepare on it. But ultimately, in the cold light of day, minutes-wise, on the pitch, I don't think we're going to lose that much when we lose Jordan Henderson. From a leadership perspective, yes, absolutely. But with regards to actual minutes being played, let's be honest, at 33 years of age, most of us thought that he was going to be used sparingly in the upcoming season. So it's not a huge loss in that regard. And I guess getting in 13 million quid for him is better than a kick in the nuts. Lance, thank you for the super chat, mate. Said if Fabinho goes, we absolutely need a senior CDM. Decore maybe. Poor Harvey, by the way. Love you, Craig. Yeah, look, we're doing it to protect our other dog as well. You know, Harvey's just about to turn 1, Lance, and we've spoke to a couple of vets about it and a dog behavioural expert about it, and, you know, the consensus is that he's just got a load of hormones now that he's hit 1, and he's trying to be top dog, and we need to protect our little fella, so best way we could deal with it. With regards to a senior midfielder, I do agree. And look, let's ask this to the chat. If we do lose Fabinho, what do you guys think? Who would you like to come in alongside Lavia? Bradley Witham. Craig, have you got any news on the links to Kimmich, and would you take him? Because if Fabinho left, love to have Kimmich starting Lavia as a backup. So yes, Bradley, I did have some news on Joshua Kimmich yesterday, and it's not even news that you need to believe from me. They're words that came from the man's mouth himself. He said that he's planning on being at Bayern. He's fully focused on being part of Bayern for the upcoming season. So unless something changes drastically there, it looks like Joshua Kimmich is one that won't be coming to Anfield. Scotty said, Craig, how do we cope in leadership in the midfield for the big games? You're going to have to look to Thiago. You're going to have to hope that Jones steps up and shows some of that leadership. You know, if you look at Curtis Jones through the underage setup, he was always a leader, and maybe he'll start to step up to that role now. You've obviously got Trent as well. And look, we've got lots of senior pros. We will be lacking that bit of experience in the centre of the park. I think that's fair. Welcome from Poland. How are we, my friend? Lovely to have you in. Amrabat's going to go to United by the looks of it. Ball McPreben, so I don't think that's a possibility. There's some people in Italy that think that deal's already done. Now, maybe there's United fans in the chat who have more of an insight to that than we would have, but I don't know. But I don't think we're going to see him at Liverpool. Valverde, look, I'd love it. Travash, I'd love it. I'd absolutely bite your hand off for Fede Valverde. But, you know, if we bring in Lavia, and let's say then our outgoing, or our expenditure would be about £140 million, we would have taken back in maybe 60. So that's 80. We still need to get a centre-back, although we may not do it in this window. So I'm not sure if Klopp would have the budget to go out there and bring in somebody like Valverde, even if Real Madrid were potentially willing to sell, which I don't know if they are. Again, I think a lot could depend on Kylian Mbappe's future there. Thoughts on Locatelli? I don't have any, because it's just a random name that people have just constantly put in, and he's not going to be a Liverpool player. So, well, not unless something I don't know about's happening, but yeah, it's just another random name. What about Barella? Again, I've nothing to give you on Barella, other than a lot of admiration from myself, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, Abdul. So, next person to write the word Locatelli, expect a ban. I'm warning you now before you do it, because, you know, it's getting a little bit annoying. Day after day, Locatelli. Why don't you just email Klopp and the club, Locatelli? That would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? Yeah, just email the club with your suggestions. Virgil van Dijk, new captain, said Badrul. It's looking that way, dude, yeah. It's looking that way. Going off what Sobotlai said anyway. Thoughts on Van de Ven? So when I did look into him, LFC Forever, I was a little bit... I liked what I seen with Van de Ven. You know, he was certainly really quick, very pacey, very fast, and seemed to have a lot of the attributes that Jurgen Klopp would look for in a centre-back, but it went cold very quickly. And I don't know if the move to Spurs is dead and buried, but it did look like Spurs were in the hot seat to sign him. But again, that's gone really quiet. Stealth signing Melissa. I know. I'm still waiting. Now, to be fair to Melissa never said that there will be a stealth signing. She said Liverpool love a stealth signing. And then you've got, I think it was Neil Jones who said that he wouldn't be surprised if a signing came completely out of left field. So let's go through and give you a bit of an update about what happened today and how we got to this point where Henderson released his goodbye video and where we're at with Fabinho. I'm going to do my best to give you a bit of a timescale of what happened here. So you probably all got up today and seen the images of Jordan Henderson training with El Ettifaq over in Croatia, where I told you a couple of days ago they're on a pre-season tour. I found that very strange. I do. I found it very strange that it was released before the club released anything. But maybe I'm naive. Maybe this happens all the time. I truly don't know. But that's where we were at today when we got up. Now, moving on from that, we found out that Al Ittihad had apparently got, I don't want to say a ban from signing new players, but there was a pause on them signing new players. And we found out that that pause has been lifted, and this is probably why the Fabinho deal will push on. Fabrizio Romano said, Fabinho to Al Ittihad is still on. Verbally, it's very advanced. Bayern Munich also called last week to be informed on the Fabinho deal in case it collapses. Then there was a post again from Fabrizio that said, Henderson is signing his Al Ettifaq contract right now. And that was, I think, sometime this morning. Henderson is in Croatia to complete his move on a 3-year deal. So, yeah, I just find it a bit weird, like, because again, nothing from the club, nothing to say that Henderson had moved on, and then you would expect the video from Henderson, you'd expect whatever, the goodbyes, but it's all been a bit weird, this whole thing. So on Levi Colwill, David Lynch has said Levi Colwill is basically out of bounds. It would be virtually impossible to get him this summer. With regards to other stuff, he was saying, I would suspect Jurgen Klopp would be happy with his midfield options if he gets Lavia to replace Henderson and if Fabinho stays. I'd be surprised if Bayern Munich were willing to pay the £40 million for Fabinho, which, again, I would agree with, because I don't think Fabinho's market value is £40 million. I think his market value is about 10 million less than that, in all honesty, but that's where we're at with regards to transfers. Now, I want to get a taste from you guys about, do you think there is a chance Fabinho might still stay? And if he does still stay, are we okay with it? For me, I'm kind of all right with it. I mean, once a player wants to leave, I would rather they leave, in all honesty. But he has been, quite respectful about it. And as I've said to you, the reports from the club had been that he was, a model professional throughout the whole process. Colin, thank you so much, Colin Maluf, for the super chat, mate. He said, what say you and I go replace Matip and Gomez? I don't know, mate. You'd probably be a lot better at that than me. Me being a centre-back or a right-back, it wouldn't end well for the Reds, mate. But I'm worried about them. They were terrible in the second half when they played in that pre-season friendly the other day. Mark said that Liverpool changed the Twitter profile to include the LGBTQ plus on it again. So I think that's a dig at Hendo. I mean, you could only read that into it, in my opinion, as well, Mark. Yeah. I didn't know that they had, because I'm not on Twitter, but well played. Well played. Any updates on Pavard? Nope. I don't think we're going... never thought we're going to sign Pavard, mate, There's been a few players in this window that I've thought, why aren't we interested in? Like Ndika. I never understood why Liverpool didn't at least have a pop at that deal, because he was a free transfer, left side of defence, left side of centre-back, and if nothing else, it was a body that we could have given some breathing room to Verge. But, we know Kloppo is very particular about getting the right person or nobody. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. Craig, who do you prefer to start? Gakpo, Nunez or Jota? And that's from Darwin Lover. So, honestly, and I'm going to be really blunt and honest with you, my opinion on that changes day to day. You'll see Darwin do things and you'll think, yeah, he's looking really sharp. And then another time you'll think, but Jota's in great form, he's scoring goals. And then I'll go back and go, but Gakpo's the one the manager trusts. Gakpo's the one the manager thinks gets the system. So, it's a really tough call, but I'm really happy that it's a really tough call, because, as I've said many times on the show, I think we've got a great collection of forwards, and it's great. I love it. I love that we have so many top-class forwards with different strengths, but all understanding of the system. Now, we know that Jurgen Klopp hopes that Darwin, works on his counter-pressing, but I don't think anybody can but be impressed with what we've seen from Darwin in pre-season. And also what we've seen from Diogo Jota. I think he's been very good as well, as has Mo, as have they all. Lucho got himself a goal as well. Colin said, honestly, Fabinho has always been my favourite. Such a pure soul and nothing but respect and good intentions. Would have him back in a heartbeat, said Colin. And thank you for your super chat again, Colin. Yeah, he's always come across like a good dude. Even from the stuff where he met a Liverpool fan when he was on his holiday and he had dinner with him and stuff like that beside the beach. He has. And from the very minute Fabinho and his good lady wife came onto the Liverpool scene, I think they've got it. I think they've understood their fan base. And I think they settled in really well. So, yeah, I don't disagree with you at all, Paul. Craig, if you were getting a Liverpool kit, what player would you be getting on the back of it? Said Dino 18. Who would I get in the back of it? Probably Canade. I really like Canade. He's a pretty fucking suave dude. So probably Canade. Lavia or Decore? Hi from Kosovo. Albreen, thank you for the question, mate. Love right back to you. In that scenario, probably Decore, because he's more experienced and a little bit further along in his development. But I'm not unhappy with Lavia at all. The The feeling that we're leaving ourselves with a little bit of inexperience, though, won't go away. It won't. If we sign Lavia, we've got a very young midfield then, with not much experience there other than Thiago. Who can afford a Liverpool kit this year with the price it is, says Charles. Mate, I'm with you. Like, 100 quid for the standard shirt in euros is nuts. That's the world we're living in, though, unfortunately. Yeah. Who should be Liverpool's captain? Said, I'm not sure how I pronounce this, but Nzatones. For me, 5 people would be absolutely fine. Trent, Robbo, Verge, Allison, Salah. Any of those 5, and I'd be more than happy. You know, I think we've got a good group of leaders at the club. Unfortunately, none of them are midfielders at the moment. News on Coop Miners. Nope, not for me. Sorry, I don't have any, Addy, other than some links that go back throughout the summer. And I've always said Coop Miners would be somebody I'd be very content with Liverpool signing. Colin said, heading out for the night. Glad to catch you this evening. Figured you deserve these donations more than me. Nothing but love for you. You're very kind, Colin, and thank you so much. I hope you have a good night out as well, my friend. Be safe, enjoy yourself, and I look forward to catching up with you soon. And anybody else, by the way, thank you so much for everyone tonight who is sending in super chats and stuff like that as well. If you want to become a member of Anfield Agenda, there are a couple of options for you. You've got Anfield Agenda FC, which is $2.99 a month, and Anfield Agenda FC Ultras, which is $5.99 a month, and you get varying things. Everybody gets the custom emojis, everybody gets shout outs when they become members. We've got membership polls for the Ultra group as well, which are going to help shape the future of the channel, and a few other bits and pieces. I know that there are some issues, by the way, about people not seeing a join button, and myself and Connor are stumped as to what's going on with that, because sometimes it's on some channels, sometimes it's not. I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason for it, so if you're not seeing the button, I apologise, but we are trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Right, and again, I got to do this, so bear with me. The live show in Dublin. If you want to come and see us, of course, there are still tickets available. It is, now 9 days away. I'm so excited to be doing the first ever Anfield Agenda show. So if you want to come and see us, you can get tickets in the link of this stream. You'll find the description, or you can check out thesugarclub.com/tickets. It is an over 18s event. It is going to be lots of fun. And don't forget, somebody will be leaving that night with 2 tickets to go and see Liverpool versus Everton in the Kop for the derby in October. 1 night's hotel accommodation, Liverpool City Centre, and your choice of any 2 of the Liverpool shirts from this upcoming campaign. So again, thank you for your support on that one. And if you're there on the night, we're going to have some fun. So appreciate your support. Are you staying up to watch United get... I don't want to use the last word in your sentence, Bradley. Well, I'll be up at that time, dude, but I won't be watching it because you have to have MU TV or something, don't you, to watch United friendlies? So no, I won't see it. But if it was on Sky or something, I'd have watched it. I've been watching a lot of the preseason games from the States, and they've been really enjoyable. David O'Connor, Kochi, gifting another 5 Anfield Agenda memberships. My man, thank you. Love it, man. Much love. And I'm sure that they'll be greatly appreciated by people as well. Craig, what are your thoughts if you don't get Lavia over the line by the end of the summer transfer window? Will we get top 4? So, Ganza, firstly, I don't want to overcommit to this because, you know, sometimes these things can bite you in the backside, but I believe the Lavia deal is very close. The agreement. There's no problems with regards to the personal terms or anything like that. Liverpool have acted quickly to get ready with the second offer, and I think the second offer is very fair. You know, Fabrizio's been saying it's forthcoming. There's lots of talk. It's going to be about 40 plus 5 and add-ons. And if you're asking 50, I think we're getting into the realms of fairness there. So I think we'll see some positive news on that soon. And on the top 4 show, yes, I think we'll get into the top 4. But also, the way the season is looking, dependent on how Spanish clubs and English clubs get on in this season's European competition, 5th place will get you into the Champions League in the upcoming season, because of the new rules that are coming in. So it could be all right, even if we finish 5th, which wouldn't be good enough for Liverpool. Let's be quite frank about it. 5th this season wasn't good enough. And 5th next season won't be good enough, even if it gets us into the Champions League. I want our ambitions to be a bit higher than that. How do you receive gifted membership? Potluck, mate. People just, let's say I wanted to gift 5. They're just done randomly. Connor Mack, thank you for your super chat, mate. Appreciate you. Didn't put a comment in, bud, but thank you so much for your support. Right, I've got more notes to go through. Sorry, bear with me here. So, Paul Joyce has been speaking about the Fabinho situation, and he said, renewed expectation that Fabinho's £40 million move to Al Ittihad will go ahead after the deal had stalled over payment terms to Liverpool. Talk started again now, so looks like we're closing in. Am I a member? No, sir, you are not. If you were a member, you'd have a little Anfield Agenda logo beside your name, Etho. Oh, by the way, I don't usually big ourselves up much, but wait and you see what we've got in store for the new season. We're going to be dropping some pretty impressive graphics and stuff. A new camera, lots of new stuff we're working on behind the scenes for the new season. So I think you guys will be proud of us. I think you'll be pleased when you see it. And not long to go now. Not long to go. What do you think about the links to the striker from Lask? Now, Bud, I'm not going to lie to you. I've no idea who that player is. I've not even seen the story. I know Lask Linz, I think it is. Are they a second tier Austrian team, if my memory's right? Miguel Nunes, welcome to Anfield Agenda Ultras, my friend. Pleasure to have you with us. Jesse Quinn said, love this channel, mate. Boom, we love that. Well played. Any news on the stand? Yes. Thank you, Mark. Mark is doing my job for me. I love it. That's why he's the chief mod. So, yes, Liverpool have today announced that the Annie Road End, the opening of the top section of it will be delayed and it won't be ready for the first home game of the season against Bournemouth. Now, there's been lots of talk about this over the summer. People saying they think it's going to be delayed. We've seen some sneak shots and stuff from inside Anfield. And the club did today confirm that it wasn't going to be ready. The bottom tier, I believe, will be ready to go, and there will be no membership ballot for tickets until the top tier is open. It's going to be people who have 13 games, 13 credits from last season who will be able to buy tickets. And yeah, that's where we're at, which is, it's unfortunate, but this happens in building projects. And reading up from what the club said, they said it was a very tricky build, a very complicated project, and look, they're not too far behind on it, so hopefully sooner or later we'll have that full 61,000 capacity inside Anfield. And I don't know about you guys, but it does look fantastic. They did a great job on the main stand, and the Annie Road End looks top notch as well, so sooner the better it's open. Yeah, it's a bit of a setback, but you know, we're not a million miles away. So the new stand won't be ready until October. That's what it's looking like, Connor. Yes. Yeah, the club have put it back a little bit. Look, at least, you know, maybe the people would have liked this news a bit earlier. I understand that. But I guess with something that's a project that big, you know, there's lots of moving pieces and it's not too big of a delay. I mean, you've seen other stuff go a lot longer. Any news on Varady? So there was a little bit of news on Varady today. Let me just go through my notes, buddy. 1 second. I have a lot of pages open here in front of me, so just bear with me. There was news on Varady today, and it was that he's agreed terms with Liverpool, according to a report coming from, I think it was El Nacional, and that Liverpool are expected to come forth with an offer. Now, I don't believe it, personally, but I also don't know it to be untrue or true. I don't know. I wouldn't like Varady. I think Varady 3 or 4 years ago would have bitten your hand off for. I think I've always been a fan of him. He's a wonderful football player. But injuries have caught up with him, and I'd pass up on the opportunity, but that's just me. But he's a really good football player. Dan Bolton, thank you, buddy, for joining Anfield Agenda Ultras. Incredible support, guys, by the way, since we've started back with the memberships. Blown us all away, so thank you. John O'Neill, thank you for your super chat. Said, hey, mate, long time. Glad you're back. Wish we'd gone for Kone and Thuram. I think I'll always wonder, John, is the Kone stuff unlucky? You know, was that injury picked up for France in the under 21 Euros, the kibosh? Was that the thing that ruled us out? Because I'd started to really warm to the idea of Kone and Thuram. Um, he's a little bit more experienced, I would say, than Lavia, but from all accounts, I think we're getting a very good player with Lavia when he comes in. I know we had a couple of mistakes in him last season. Sure, didn't he gift Jota? I think it was the goal when we played them, and I think he was. I think he lost possession another point during the season, and they conceded a goal from it. But look, he's who Klopp wants, and if he's who Klopp wants, then get the dude in and let's see what he can do. Maybe you can set up an online store to sell some Anfield Agenda t-shirts. Um, you know what? I'm going to be, again, really honest with you, Felix. I love the name Felix, by the way. Um, uh, After the ticket stuff, after, you know, putting the live show up and seeing the lack of interest, for want of a better phrase, in the tickets, I'm really skeptical about anything like t-shirts, hoodies, anything like that, because I don't want it to be a time-consuming thing for everybody involved on our side with no real appetite for it out there, if you get me. Like, I'm not moaning, by the way, about the tickets not selling. I get it, I mean, it's a tough time, and the appetite just might not be there for people to come and see us. But I'm just being honest about why stuff like that might be a little bit further down the line. What do you think about getting Aaron's from Norwich? Thank you again for that super chat from Omega. Max Aaron's. Unsure would be my honest answer. Yeah, unsure. Varadi's off to Saudi. I was sure he turned down that move, mate, but he's close to it now. There you go, then. There you go. I think that's given us our answers. Thank you, Pranav. Thank you, Craig Adams, for that one. Um, Thank you, Liam Belson, and a few others in the chat who'd mentioned that he could be off to Saudi. Makes sense, because he is at a point in his career where, those type of moves for money maybe make some sense. Love your channel. Thank you. It's partly your channel, Adam. It's not my channel. It's not Connor's channel. It's not the new person's channel. It's a community. And yeah, as I keep saying, man, we wouldn't have got to this point without you guys and your continued support. So I'm just, I feel really bad the last week coming on to do the streams when I wish I had more to say. I wish I had more positive stuff to talk about with regards to the season ahead. And I'm very much looking forward to the games being back on, and when we can concentrate on speaking about performances and results, team selection, rather than the moral stuff we've had to go through. It's not fun for football fans, is it, to be dealing with morality issues, to be dealing with potential sports washing stuff, to be dealing with FFP. We're fans. We want to watch football. We want to enjoy the players. We want to celebrate together, commiserate together, and moan together. Which player would you recommend for Hendo's replacement? Great question. Thank you for that favour, Matthew. Which player would I recommend? And I've got to be realistic here as well, because I don't think there's going to be a huge budget available for that fourth midfielder after we spend the money on Lavia. So who would I bring in? My brain is going around Europe at the minute trying to figure it out. I think if you could go for Ismail Benacer from AC Milan, you'd probably get a decent price for him. Um, I'm trying to think of who's available, who'd be price doable, and who would work. Because I could name you off midfielders from around Europe, but we need to be semi-realistic about this. Uh, I like Thuram, but he's not going to replace the experience at all. Um, I'd probably want it to be somebody with Premier League experience, but when you start talking about Premier League experience, you're talking about a lot of money again. So it's a tough one. Coop Miners is a great shout, Lance, and we mentioned him earlier on in the stream. He would have enough experience that I'd feel comfortable. Yes, that's a very good shout. Thuram, I'd love. You know, I love the idea of Thuram, and I feel like we've left him hanging a little bit as well. Conor Gallagher, no. Have you seen the price, by the way, Russell? So I think they've turned down a £40 million offer for Conor Gallagher from West Ham, and they want more. Like, come on, lads. In what world are we living in where we're talking about 45 million quid for Conor Gallagher? Somebody who couldn't even get into that Chelsea team properly last season and had very little impact compared to the impact he had at Palace. Christian Norgard from UK Paul. Coop Miners, did you say stats are terrible? Yeah, but football isn't played with stats, mate. People who use stats to argue about footballers, in my opinion, just don't know what they're looking at. I don't I look at stats form a part of this, but the eye test is also important. And from watching Coop Miners, I quite like him. Amrabat would be a great shout as well. Yeah, absolutely. But it looks like United are in the box seat for that one, unless something's changed. Uzar, I'm going to keep annoying or keep ignoring your comments, mate, till you drop the caps. Because I know I've seen 5, 6 of your comments. Every one of them have had the caps lock on, and I know how much it bugs our moderator, so I'm intentionally not replying to them. Could Hakan Çalhanoğlu replace Hendo or Fabinho? Not for me. Not for me. But look, it's tough because we're all just picking names out of a hat here at this point, right? You know, we don't actually know what the thought process is from the club. Avicii UK said, let's be real, there's plenty of players who'll be able to replace Hendo's ability-wise in the squad. He was terrible last season. Yes. Again, no argument for me on that one. I said it at the start of the video, or start of the stream tonight. You know, we aren't talking about a player that we're losing that's had a huge impact on us from a minutes played perspective. So, yeah, from that regard, we're not losing a whole lot. But we can't ignore what else we've lost. We've lost James Milner. We've lost Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. We've lost Naby Keita. We've lost Bobby Firmino. We've lost Jordan Henderson. We're about to lose Fabinho. That's a lot of experience, even if it isn't a whole lot of minutes that have been departed. Russ, thank you, buddy, for upgrading your membership to Anfield Agenda Ultras. How long are we on now? Let me check. 42. Cool. One sec, just need a drink. Craig, I'd rather you play at 6 than Thiago. You wouldn't if you seen me play. What do I think about Zubamendi? I don't think about Zubamendi. Like, I know people are trying to figure it out and have been looking at players and all, but like, being honest, I don't have time to look at every player in Europe. And I try to deal in the players that I've at least seen us linked to. Yeah, sorry. Frank Kessie, no. Again, my point on him, Alejandro, is if we wanted Frank Kessie, why did we go for Kessie when he was leaving Milan? You know, there's no need to have waited. Same when people kept saying before he signed on a new deal or whatever about what's his name, the kid from the dude with the man bun, the French dude, played for Juventus, Rabiot. Yeah, people were going on about him as well, and it's just like, no, we could have got him for free, we turned him down, so why would we go back in now? Do you think Barella would fit in the number 6? So he's not a natural defensive midfielder, but I would view him as a kind of Thiago-esque number 6 in that, yes, he'd have to work on his ball winning ability somewhat, but imagine having him and Trent in that deeper position, spraying balls around to Szoboszlai or McAllister. You know, it would be impressive to watch in that regard. Paulinho would be amazing. Paulinho would be right at the very top of my list, only for the injury. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how serious that is. Sorry, I was trying to read that when does the stream end? All one word comment. Probably in about about 10 to 10, quarter to 10, probably. Will Fabinho definitely leave, said Luke. I believe so, Luke. Now that we know what the delay was, over the payment structure to Liverpool, it looks like that's been resolved. So fingers crossed, yes, we'll see that conclude soon. What about Sangar? Again, I've not seen anything other than um, fan driven links to Sangar. I've not really seen articles or journalists speaking about him, Fernando. And again, we're bringing in a number 6. So I think the other midfielder we may bring in won't be a number 6 hearsay or so. I think it'd be 6, 8. I would expect a versatile midfielder. Can we afford Varady? Well, he'd be about 40 million. So, yes, in theory, but he's going to Saudi, according to Fabrizio and many people in the chat. News on Lavia. Yes, so the news that I have for you on Lavia is that the second bid will be, if it's not already gone in, it will be gone in soon. And I think, my own opinion on this bid is I think it's one that will get accepted. We're not very far away now, Wayne, with regards to the numbers. Southampton wanted, I think, minimum of 40 guaranteed from what I was able to find out. And Liverpool, it looks like, are going back in with that 40 with 5 and add-ons. So the club are trying to get it done. And I think that's a very fair offer. In fact, bluntly, I think we're overpaying a little bit. But the club want them, and you got to do what you got to do to get them in. Now, again, I pointed out earlier on that I only found this out today, but Manchester City apparently have a 20% sell-on clause as well for Romeo Lavia. We knew about the buyback clause option of £40 million that they had coming up at the end of this coming season, but I didn't know about the sell-on clause till today. What about Calvin Phillips? What about him indeed? Would be my reply to you. One, Manchester City aren't going to want to strengthen us. Let's be real about that. 2, I don't really rate Calvin Phillips as highly as some others do. Although I'm not going to say he's a terrible footballer, he isn't. But, he didn't kick on at City at all. Didn't prove his worth there. So if he's not good enough for City, he ain't good enough for us, in my eyes. Do I like Ben Foster? I don't know Ben Foster. Yeah. I don't know the man, so he seems like a very polite, nice, positive human being, but I don't know him on a personal level. Craig, you don't seem happy about Lavia. I'm delighted. No, I am. I can't get away from the part, Joe, that we're still going to lack a lot of experience in that midfield. There's a lot to be said for youthful energy and exuberance, but you want to mix that sometimes with tactical nous and experience. So very happy. Like, as I said this the other day, if you look at our midfield and think about it 2, 3, 4 years down the line, we're good to go. We're set, like, with McAllister, with Szoboszlai, with Jones, with Elliott, with Lavia if he comes in, with Bradley if he progresses towards midfield. Obviously we've got Bajcetic as well coming through. So look, the future is very bright. Just worried that inexperience could potentially hurt us in pivotal moments throughout the season. Kimmich told media he'll stay at Bayern Munich. Yeah, I mentioned that on yesterday's stream, mate. He did. He came out and he said that he's planning to be at Bayern for the upcoming season, and basically he's staying there. So spot on with what you've said, Brendan. After Lavia box to box like Coop Miners and a left-footed centre-back, we definitely need the left... Well, I wouldn't necessarily say left-footed, but left-sided centre-back. 100%. I just fear that we won't see that in this window. Unless the club or Jurgen has a change of heart, or this is the stealth surprise signing that we didn't think about. Like, Right, question for you guys. I've spent the last 40 minutes answering loads of them, and I'm always lovely and happy to do it. I enjoy it. But question back to you guys now. If Liverpool end up signing Lavia, McAllister and Soboslai, don't bring in a centre back and don't add any more signings to midfield, how are you feeling going into the upcoming season? You know, because there is lots of cause for optimism, but I would always feel like we're one or two injuries away from another crisis. So that's my take. I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you think our midfield is fixed? Not yet, but we're a good chunk of the way towards it. Would I take Ndidi? No, I wouldn't. 2 years ago, probably, but not now. Right, I'm going to go through your worried, said Liam Belson. Felix Wong said, I can't believe Coop Miners is only 25, doesn't look that young. No, you're right, he doesn't. He defo looks a bit older. Cabbage Turnip said, I'd be disappointed. Liverpool said, not too good. Imagine said, a bit nervous. M3X said, underwhelming. David Smith said, by Cetic, could be better than Lavia in a year or less. Could be. And also, you know, is versatile, can play in the 6 or the 8, so we'll give Jurgen a lot of options. Top 4, if lucky, said Mr. Too Sweet. Arlie Powell said, not good. Worried, said Connor the Red. Russ Meyer said, short change. Derek, scared. 8 out of 10. Decent, said Emmett. Need a statement signing, said Hayes there. Who's this? Moomin Ninja 1994. Hey Craig, how are you doing? I'm alright, mate. It's been a really stressful few weeks, but I'm alright. I'm hanging in there. On the way home, so I wanted to see something interesting to listen to on the way home. Well, I'm here. I hope I'm interesting. Pranav, thank you for your super chat, my friend. Said, don't think Robbo can play left centre back when we shift to a 3-box-3 formation. Need Van de Ven, Inacio, or someone else. I don't disagree with you. Now, I know that Andy Robertson has played in a back three for Scotland, but I can't disagree with you there. I don't feel comfortable seeing Robbo on the left side of a 3 at the back when Trent moves into midfield. I don't. So no disagreement from me, which is why as I said, yeah, I agree with your comment. We do need to get that other body in. Now, don't rule out the possibility of it happening. I'm not wholeheartedly saying it isn't going to happen. I'm concerned because it's very, very quiet around the centre-back situation. What do I think about Kyle Walker? You know what? I'm going to be blunt. I'd take him for a year or two, you know? He's 33, I think, isn't he, Kyle Walker? But he shows no sign of slowing down. Like, he's always been a great athlete. And yeah, for a year or two, I'd take him. But it's not going to happen, but, you know, being blunt about it. Because it would give us an opportunity to allow Calvin Ramsey and to allow Connor Bradley to develop. And we wouldn't have to worry about no cover. So, yeah, on the whole, for a short year, a year or two, I wouldn't say no. Best Liverpool channel by far. I like to think so, Arlie. But, yeah, as I said before, man, there's lots of great Liverpool content for people to watch. But I'm pleased and proud that you're here with us. Now, the only thing about Walker is I wouldn't like me right back out in pubs flashing his wobbly bits to everybody. That's a downside. Gvardiol or Colwill? I'd prefer Colwill in the long term. For the homegrown part, I like what I see. But if you're looking for somebody to play this season, I'd probably edge the Gvardiol. Either one, I'd be over the moon with, but unfortunately don't think we'll see either one this summer. We lose trust on Matip and Gomez in the next season. What I've seen, mate, I'm losing that trust already. Matip looked very disinterested in that second half of the preseason friendly, and Gomez is so up and down. You know, he's obviously a really fit fella. He's capable of good things, but yeah, he just drops off at times, switches off, ball watches. And I wouldn't, like, let's say we picked up an injury to Canade. I really wouldn't feel all that comfortable the season depending on Verge and Gomez. Who's captain for me this season? As I said many times, Derek, I'm absolutely sound if it's Verge, if it's Trent, if it's Robbo, if it's Mohamed Salah, Alisson Becker. I mean, any of those five gents, and I think you couldn't really argue against it. I think it will be Virgil van Dijk. You know, Klopp does at times look to seniority in these situations, and you know, Verge is the oldest of that group, so I'd imagine Verge. Can't understand why we're not in for somebody like Jonathan Tah. He's too slow, he's too cumbersome, and he's not good enough. Glyn is the short answer. You know, Jonathan Tah, when he was coming through at Leverkusen, was highly thought of and expected a lot of, but I don't think he's ever lived up to that potential. We should have got Evan and Dika, said Luke. I mean, on a free, mate, I don't understand why we weren't in that conversation, even if it was a short-term thing. Craig, where do we start with homegrown players at the minute? And what are the repercussions of it? So, off the top of my head, I think we've four. I think. What's the repercussions of it? A mixed bag. So you don't have to have a certain number of homegrown players. You just have to have 8 if you want to have a full 25-man Premier League squad. So if you want to fulfill the full squad, you've got to have 17, a maximum of 17 non-homegrown players, 8 homegrown players, and then anybody under the age of 21 doesn't fall into either category and doesn't have to be put on the squad list. So it would be beneficial to us to get a couple of homegrown players. Yeah, no arguing on that one. But I wouldn't say it's a huge headache for us. Now, if we signed Lavia, he's 19. By the time he becomes 21, he'd fall into the homegrown category. So yeah, again, it's cause for concern, but I wouldn't be losing sleep over it. Why didn't we go for Mickey van de Ven? Truth, don't know. Don't know. I don't know if it was a fleeting interest and something happened or we weren't sure about him. I seen the Spurs stuff came and went very quickly as well. I mean, I'm sure Fabrizio said at one point Spurs were in the box seat to get that deal done. Yeah. So I truly don't know. What would you prefer, Gakpo or Nunes in the number 9? Right now to start the season, probably Gakpo, because I feel he's more consistent in the role. I feel that Nunes, if he does what we think he can do, and he's full of confidence, he could explode this season and score a bag full of goals. But for that first game away at Stamford Bridge, I'd probably go with the Gakpo through the centre option, because I think it gives the manager a better base to defend from the front and a better structure going into the game. Thoughts on Darwin? I love Darwin. You know, and I'm not in the camp of somebody who thinks that he had a poor first season. I don't. 14 goals is up there with the similar numbers as I mentioned before to Mane and Suarez in the first season. So I've no issues with Darwin. I think he's going to prove to be a very astute piece of business. I think giving him the number 9 was genius. I think it'll give him a real shot of confidence. And it's up to him to work on his English. It's up to him to work on his counter pressing. If he can get them right, I think, you know, he'll be amazing for us. Schlotterbeck. Again, just a random name. I've not seen a link to him. I'm not saying he wouldn't be good enough. I'm just saying it's a random name and I've not read anything on it. How would you line up for Stamford Bridge? Said Scotty. Great question. I'm going to try my best to answer it. If Thiago's fit and available, if he can train and get back up to speed, I would go with Alisson, Trent, Canade, Verge, Robbo, Thiago if he's fit. McAllister. Unsure whether to go with Jones or Szoboszlai. I think Klopp would go with Jones. Then I would go Salah on the right, Gakpo to the centre, and Diaz on the left. Nkunku seems very good, isn't he? I'm unsure on Nkunku, you know? He's a player, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say he's not a very good football player. But it'll be interesting to see if he can produce numbers for Chelsea. Craig, just joined. Have you seen Hendo's goodbye video? Yes, and I'm going to record a video giving my thoughts on it as soon as this stream is over, and it will be up by about 10:05. So there's a reason I haven't gone into the Hendo stuff on this stream. I wanted to compose my thoughts and just record something on it. What do you think of Mbappe turning down Al Hilal move? I think it's not unexpected. He's what, 25, 26, Mbappe? He shouldn't even be considering moving to a league like the Saudi League now. You know, he's already loaded, like, really well off. So, yeah, I think he just wants Madrid at this point. What are your thoughts on Ben Doak? Very promising, but does need to work on a few details, as he should. Like, you know, he's only 17 years of age. His ability in front of goal looks a little bit hit and miss. Decision making a little bit to be worked on, but everything else just, he looks like he could go past people for fun. So very excited to see Ben Doak. You used to think it was enough to make a grown man cry. I don't think you'll want to watch my take on the Henderson video then, mate, because my opinion is very, 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 very different to your opinion. Yeah, let me just say that. I disagree wholeheartedly on the video, and nothing about it made me feel sad. Arlie said, loving the content, Craig. Who's your ideal DM? I liked the idea of Decore when we were linked to him because he's a bit more experienced. Lavia, look, it's a good signing, but we can't ignore the elephant in the room, which is the lack of experience we'd have in midfield. Yeah, I'm going to say Decore would have been... And look, I like the idea of Kone as well when he was linked. Any signings after Lavia? Truly, at this moment in time, Duke, I don't know. You know, there's a mixed feeling amongst the journalists and stuff. And some people think that it might be Liverpool shutting up shop for the window. Others think Liverpool might act if something happens. And then there are others who think maybe we're working on something that none of us know about yet. Would you say Jota is underrated? Yes, I would. Especially by opposition fans. Do you know what Van Dijk celebration means? Nope, not got a clue. I look like Darwin. Oh yeah, spitting image of Darwin, me. Constantly, every time I'm in the shops, people are going, is that Darwin Núñez? Happens all the time. Funny how Thuram went so quiet, said Luca. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't know another phrase to use other than blue balls, but I feel like we left the dude hanging, you know? I feel like we tickled him a little bit and then kind of just said, you know, sorry mate, but nothing happening. Thoughts on the Premier League Summer Series? Do you know what? I've really enjoyed it, Stanislav. Thoughts why Liverpool aren't there? I think sometimes there are corporate partnerships that you have to look after, like Standard Chartered and stuff. You know, a lot of their banking is done in Asia, so heading towards Singapore makes sense. So I think there's more money spinning things for Liverpool and more commitments that we'd have. Same with Manchester United, same with some other clubs. But I do like it. I very much enjoyed watching the games. They've all been good, high-scoring affairs, and I'll watch the rest of them as well. So I think it's a success. And it's great that you get to see, you know, Premier League players over in the States, or Premier League players, that you might not get to see. And I won't say it's competitive, but it's been enjoyable. What would your ideal front three be next season? I don't have one because it would depend on the opposition. So different teams, I'd want a different player. I think the strongest front three at this moment in time, that regarding trust from the manager, is probably Salah, Gakpo, Lucho. Would I sell Salah for Mbappe? No. And for the longest time, I'd have said yes. Like every other time, mate, I'd have said yes. There's something about Mbappe that just doesn't appeal to me from a personal point of view. I don't think he would be the type of character that Klopp would want to add in. I don't think the drama that comes around him is something he'd want at the club. As a footballer, he's exceptional. Amazing. But no, I wouldn't. And I would have said yeah. I said a yeah last season, as an example, when I was asked that question. Can someone tell me where I can watch the Hendo video? It's on his Instagram, Andrew. He posted it up on his Instagram feed. It's also on, I think, Sky Sports News. I know the Echo certainly had a live blog with a link to it. Right, friends, what time have we got? Yeah, I'm going to call it a night and go and get this video about Henderson recorded. So I will see you guys, same time, same place tomorrow, where I hope we have more information on Fabinho. We'll have obviously got the confirmation on Henderson, and fingers crossed, we'll have had the information on the signing as well. I'm hoping we get the here we go soon. I hope we get an agreement very soon on the deal for Lavia. So until then, apologies, I was a few minutes late tonight. As I said, I had camera issues, so that's why. But yeah, much love to you all. Thank you for your support as always. To everyone that sent super chats, became members tonight, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Don't forget as well, if you want to come see us in Dublin, time is running out to get your tickets. 9 days to go. Sugarclub.com. And have yourselves a brilliant evening.